So hello guys, welcome back to a new video. Today I'll be explaining the section B portion of the AA paper, and trust me, this is a highly recommended video because this video consists of 70 marks of AA paper, and I'll be telling you the whole approach of the questions that are asked in section B. Okay. So firstly, let us move on with the video and let us see what are the parts that are asked in section B in AA. Right? So in section B, there are total 70 marks, right? So in those 70 marks, there are 30 marks for risk, substantive procedures and theory, 20 marks for internal controls plus theory, and the other 20 marks for substantive procedures plus theory, which is a separate question for substantive procedures. Okay, so in this question of risk and substantive procedures, there is also a possibility that they can ask a different question here instead of substantive procedures. Okay, they can ask any topic instead of substantive procedures, or they can ask substantive procedures itself. Okay, right? And substantive procedures has a separate question as well, right? And you have to remember one thing is that theory is important, right? Because every part of section B will have a theory question, maybe of 2 marks, 4 marks, 5 marks, 6 marks. So you have to keep in mind that. Okay, now let us see the weightage of the topics. Substantive procedures is asked for approximately 20 to 25 marks. Risk is asked for 10 to 16 marks. Internal control is asked for 10 to 16 marks, and 5 to 8 marks is for corporate governance in section B. Okay, and this is not constant, this can change, but substantive procedures is observed that it is asked for 20 to 25 marks in each attempt, right? And risk and internal controls can be interchanged, and the weightage of them can be interchanged. Okay, so risk question, how to approach the risk question, how to get yourself mastered in risk question is, firstly, there are two parts in risk questions. So first is identifying those risks, and the second is auditor's recommendation, right? So risk identifying is an easy mark. Why? Because when you solve more and more questions, the risk identifying part becomes easier for students, right? And then the auditor's recommendation is moderately difficult because it has some it has some part of substantive procedures which we have to write. Auditor's recommendation is something how to correct that risk, right? And what are the procedures of identifying that risk, so we have to see that in auditor's recommendation. Okay, so this is an important point, and you should work on it and correct your mistakes each and every time when you solve the questions, right? So approach for risk question, how to start solving risk question, and what is the step-by-step procedures in which you should start your risk questions. So first is read answers for two risk question. Okay, first pick up any two risk question in the book, in the exam kit, then go to the read the question first, then see if you can, if you are able to identify any risk. If you are not able to identify any risk, you should go to the answer, you should read the answer and see how they have identified the risk, what they consist as a risk, and what should be the approach. Do this for two questions. Okay, after knowing the whole approach, the model answer, you will get to know that okay, this is the way in which I have to solve the questions. Okay, now we have to start writing after knowing the approach. So we will start writing from the third question. Okay, from the third question we will start writing, and we will solve at least 5 questions. Okay, so we will write at least 5 questions so that we are perfect at it, right? When you solve 5 questions and each time you are correcting your mistakes in the answers, then the sixth question that you will solve is the most perfect answers that you can write. Okay, so you have to keep in mind that this is the approach that you should follow for the risk question, and please do not take shortcuts because that might harm your performance. And if the shortcut is worth it, then go for it, but if it is not, so go to the long form again. Okay, so do that, and I think that risk question is easier than all the other questions in section B of AA. So I will highly recommend to follow this approach in risk question. So auditor's recommendation is, again, I have already told that it includes some part of substantive procedures. So after you have completed the substantive procedures part, the auditor recommendation part becomes a more a much easier part. Then you must be facing problem in the starting in this audit recommendations, but after you do the substantive procedures you will be able to do it easily. Okay, now comes the internal control question. Okay, most of the students faces some problem in this, because there are minute processes which are missed in the scenario. You have to identify those, and identifying those is a bit tricky part. So you have to be very attentive while reading the questions and the scenario, right? So internal controls, we have to learn some internal controls. Okay, we have to obtain good understanding of the internal control process, right? If your understanding of the internal control process is up to the mark, then only you will be able to write the ideal answer for your internal control, right? So learning will make it easy to identify control weaknesses. Okay, recommendation is how these weaknesses can be mitigated. So there are two types of things that can be asked. One is control weaknesses or deficiencies, and they can ask recommendation as well, that what is the recommendation of the auditor, and they can ask the test of control as well. So test of control is how the weakness can be found. So this is a procedure using which we will be able to find this particular deficiency, right? And recommendation is how to correct the deficiency. So we have to know the difference between the those, and you should follow the same approach as well. Okay, approach is read answers to initial two questions that we did in the risk question as well, then start writing after reading the two questions, then follow this process, correct mistakes after each question you have solved. Okay, so this is the overall approach that you should follow, right? And now comes the substantive procedures. So I have seen a lot of tutor giving recommendation that please do not learn substantive procedures. But according to me, and I have been experiencing a lot of students who are, who have not passed just because of substantive procedures, because they were not able to frame those substantive procedures, and they have left those substantive procedures because they did not know any of the things that they can write. So my approach is a little bit different from other tutors, and what I suggest my student is that you should learn all the topics for substantive procedures, and you should learn the common one. Okay, at least 3 to 4 points per topic. Okay, 3 to 4 points per topic should be learned, and these 3 to 4 points should be of common nature, which can be used in each and every question. So you have to keep this in mind, and while learning you have to make yourself familiar with framing the substantive procedures as well, because when you learn those substantive procedures, you should not directly write the learned substantive procedures, you should link it with the scenario as well. So the learned substantive procedures can also be linked to the scenario, and that particular procedure will be given good 1 mark, or 1 mark available for the substantive procedure. So the main is linking with the scenario, and no matter if you have learned that particular substantive procedures or you have made it, right? So this is my approach. If you can learn more than 3 to 4 points, that is very good, because I have seen that a lot of students can make 1 or 2 substantive procedures at the skill level, but they are not able to make all the 5 or 6 that are required. So this is my recommendation, that please learn some substantive procedures, so you are not blank in the examination, right? So this is my approach, and I also followed it, and my students also followed it, and I have a lot of students who have passed in AA with approximately 60 marks. So that is a good score in AA, right? So substantive procedures, learn procedures for all the topics, 5 at least, right? If you can learn 5, then it's okay. If you cannot, then learn at least 3 to 4. Okay, learning will ensure fast answering and easy linking, which means that you can answer the question requirement easily, and you can easily link that particular substantive procedures with the scenario. Okay, so this will be ensured. Learn only those points which can be used in all scenarios. So you will find some particular substantive procedures which can be used in all scenarios. Let's take an example of inventory. So inventory count can be mostly used in all the scenarios, right? So this is one thing that I'll recommend for substantive procedures, and that is all for the section B of AA. So if you need my personalized guidance, I teach and mentor for all the skill level subjects and SBR and SBL. So I'll be here to help you. Okay, my mentorship program is very worthful for the students who have joined for AA and other subjects as well. Right, you can join my mentorship program. I'll be providing personal guidance, one-on-one guidance, one-on-one planner as well. Okay, and I'll be giving you the resources that I used for my preparation, and trust me, those resources are worth it. Okay, and the thing is that I ensure that the students has has a level of confidence that they can easily clear the examination. So that is one thing that I follow. And one more thing is that I teach all the subjects as well. If you want all lectures, live lectures, right, one-on-one live lectures, personalized lectures, so I provide these services as well. You can reach out to me via LinkedIn. I'll be providing my LinkedIn link in the description, or you can reach out to me on my WhatsApp. I'll be giving my phone number as well. Okay, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you like this video.